I have a topic today. Start humming instead of numbing. Welcome back. Chandra Zasa Odyssey, Food and Mood Coaching, Energy Management, Soul-led Lifestyle. I have been digging deep.
Welcome! Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead, high five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
And really reconsidering what are the sticking places. And one of the things I help my clients with that I also work with regularly is how to get my brain working for me. How do I ask it open-ended questions, and how do I listen and capture those ideas and answers that my brain comes up with, and then how do I actually create them into reality? And and one of the things I've had to train my brain is don't wake me up in the middle of the night with ideas, with great ideas that then I'm compelled to stay awake. So getting my brain to say, give me great ideas, and then how do I actually implement them? And this concept came to me last week of how do we actually interrupt the default of numbing and going away from pain and discomfort and all of the uncomfortable feelings. Because when we numb out, when we avoid those feelings, when we try to push them aside or box them up or ignore them or eat them or drink them, when we're trying to escape them, it diminishes our energy levels. It diminishes our brain function. It makes us exhausted at the end of the day. And so one of the most important things is actually coming into relationship with our emotions in a way that they energize us, that in a certain way keeps our internal space decluttered and keeps our internal space in a high vibrational state where we can process and move and get insights and create. And one of my markers for noticing when I'm doing well, when I'm in good relationship, in useful relationship with my feelings, is I sing. I will kind of be on a walk and have this song that comes through me. And so for me, it's an indicator that I'm showing up for myself, that I'm kind of dealing with my life, and that I'm not in that space of coping and pushing things aside and stuffing them down and pushing them away and ignoring them and avoiding them. And so I was thinking of this concept the last week, since my brain had this idea of start humming, stop numbing, is that when we can use song and use that kind of internal space and spark of creativity to gauge where am I at, and when you are kind of locked up and feeling kind of small and shut down and lacking that vibrancy, lacking that energy, lacking that creativity, to really get curious and be like, well, what's going on inside of myself? What feelings am I potentially, and I mean, it's so normal to avoid feelings, to numb and to cope. And just using this tool, being like, okay, that's normal. That's what our brain normally likes to do, is we like to avoid these uncomfortable feelings. Our brain is wired for it. So if I know that, if I just take that as a given, and then I create an intentional relationship and I start getting curious, okay, if I'm feeling dampened, and I'm feeling closed, and I'm feeling small, what is it that I can feel? What is it that I can lean in and get curious and lean towards? And for me personally, I can name something that's going on for me right now is I have some sadness, some grief going on with a relationship that I really deeply care about, and I'm just really struggling with, and I feel really sad about it. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to feel the sadness and just wants to go away from it and just kind of pretend and just push it aside.
Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm in the Dead Sea, floating in the water. Go ahead and like and share and follow so we can keep in touch.
I was thinking okay, well, what would happen if I actually start singing and allowing myself to bring my song into this sadness, into this feeling that's in my body that I'm experiencing as part of this human experience. Grief and sadness are a part of being human, being alive, and experiencing the ups and downs of life. And so what if I actually use this song to bring it into and to reconnect my feelings and my relationship to my feelings in a way that helped me move my emotion and reconnect to that creativity and spark. And so I was thinking, well, what if this like grief and sadness that I'm going through, what if it had a song? Like what would it sound like? And I haven't practiced this, but I'm just gonna tune in for a second right after I sneeze. Oop. Maybe not. Sneeze is there. The pollen is alive. There's so much greenery and so much park in our park and so much pollen. And I actually feel it a little bit in my sinuses. So what if I sing to this sadness? Like what if I just give this emotion? Emotions only take 30 to 90 seconds to actually tap in and feel. So if I tap in and I go, okay, where's this sadness? What is it? What would song would this grief and sadness have? And here is what is going to just come up. And what always happens when we tune into our feelings, and what just happened for me right now, is a re-energization. Is that a word? I don't know, but that's what it feels like, is that there's this certain, I can feel it. I can feel this kind of like energy come back into my body. This enlivenment, this re-energization. I don't know if that's a word, but I really like that word for this experience, where giving just these few seconds and this acknowledgement and this embracing and this allowing of our 50% of life that's really uncomfortable and our brains don't want to feel, when we actually overcome that and come back towards our emotions, it energizes us. It gives us energy. And it doesn't mean that the sadness goes away, but it moves through us. And emotions come in waves. It will be back. This is, a part of my human experience right now. I have this relationship that I feel really sad and I'm grieving, and I can be in relationship to this human experience in a way that brings energy back into me and helps me continue, helps me integrate, helps me live at a higher vibration, that helps me live in a more present and a more full spectrum. It doesn't mean that the pain goes away, but it means that my energy comes back into my body. When we're avoiding and repressing and not feeling our feelings, we start to get really small in the emotional spectrum. And when we lean in and feel those emotions that our brain is wired to go away from, then we start to really open up our emotional spectrum. So I'm very curious if you would be open to sharing what you do. Do you have any intentional practice for your hard emotions? Do you have any practice for your energy management? I would love to hear what you have up your sleeve and what your tricks are. And also feel free to try on singing and allowing that vibration to just be with you for a few seconds, and tell me what happens. I'm very curious. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.